All right. What's going on, good kind people? Yes, we are live. We are live. We are live. At least right now, at the time we're doing this, we're live. You're checking out a new RCWR show dropping for Tuesday night of August 31st, 2021. Here, talking about some NWA Powerrr. I gotta tell you though, man, one thing, if I had one little caveat in regards to tonight's NWA Powerrr episode, it would be just one thing to kind of quote Columbo here. What is going on with the Into the Fire theme? What's up with that? You know, so many of us have spent all this time complaining when the song was initially taken away. And look, the song that we got right now, it's tight. I like the song that we got right now. But yeah, I'm not feeling what we currently got right now. I need that to go back to the Into the Fire joint. Nice, good throwback of a vibe. I need that song to come back. Seriously, I need that to come back. I don't know what's going on with that, but it is what it is. But despite all of that, this was the season premiere of NWA Powerrr as we're fresh off of the NWA 73rd anniversary pay-per-view. And man, this was a really good milestone episode, I would have to say, as far as getting some resets there and everything. I loved it. I loved this episode. It was definitely bona fide good overall. Overall, pretty good episode. And then you look at the matches that we had got overall for this week. We got a total of 4 matches because this episode ran about 53 minutes. So 3 matches, but a lot of built-in stories built in around those 3 matches. So every single little thing, and I got to give NWA mad props for this, but basically everything concerning every single championship, the respected champions, all of that brilliantly tackled on this episode. So to just see the directions that we're going in, for example, we now got a new NWA World Heavyweight Champion in Trevor Murdoch. And man, I tell you what, championship, that 10 pounds of gold looked pretty good on him, man. I tell you what, looks pretty good on him. You know, he had coming on out there. He's wearing a nice little blazer suit, but he still got that nice casual kind of throwback vibe going on to him. He might be wearing a blazer, but he's still pushing the jeans. He's still wearing his shirt out, but respectable to the point he's making sure he has a nice button-up collar. So definitely, I mean, you can't complain about that, right? But interesting development right here in regards to Trevor Murdoch being the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, as he reveals to Cal Davis, hey, you know, before we go any further, I want to just take my hat off to Nick Aldis. So Nick Aldis actually getting his flowers on this episode by Trevor Murdoch, talking about the great feuds that they've had, the great matches that they've had, really how they pushed each other at NWA 73 and everything. And, you know, for what it's worth, as he knows that Nick Aldis gets a bad rep, but for 3 years, Nick Aldis put the NWA on his back, wrestling any and everywhere to essentially help put NWA, put that 10 pounds of gold on the map, get everybody talking about it and everything. And it was revealed that apparently Nick Aldis has taken a sabbatical. We kind of alluded that something like this was probably going to be coming about when we were going over the 73rd anniversary show and all that. So, you know, to hear that he's taking a sabbatical, look, for all we know, it might just be 1 week. Nick Aldis could be back. But, you know, honestly, I think at this point, you just need to have him be off TV for as much as humanly possible. We know he's still going to be helping out behind the scenes and everything, and that's cool. But as far as just being that guy, just the constant, I think the character just needs to go away for a little bit. Let the fans almost forget about Nick Aldis, and then you bring him back And that's going to be a nice telling tale in itself, is when you get ready to bring him back. Just what are you going to do right here? You're going to freshen him up in a way where you got him back as a baby face. How exactly are you going to go about that? But I like the fact that they had Trevor Murdoch give Nick Aldis his flowers, give him his just due, and pretty much sending a nice, good, strong, powerful message out there to Nick Aldis that whenever he decides to come back, he would love to sit down with him man to man, squash whatever beef, and just let the past be the past and just move forward, all in the name of helping NWA continue to thrive and everything. So pretty good shit right there, the way that had, as far as the NWA World Heavyweight Championship goes. Kind of nice how all of that had got addressed and everything. And Trevor Murdoch realizing that now that he's the World Heavyweight Champion, he's got a big target on his back. He knows that eventually somebody that's a bit younger, stronger, is going to come along, whoop his ass, take that title away from him. He, of course, is going to do everything he can to put up a damn good, valiant effort, but he knows sooner or later it's going to happen. But for now, hey, he's the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. So good stuff right there. We also heard from Camille and Tom Latimer. They addressed the whole conspiracy Corgan stuff once again. They were taking shots at Billy Corgan for what all had went down NWA weekend, as Camille didn't appreciate defending her championship not once, but essentially twice in a weekend, back to back. Latimer wasn't fond of being put in a triple threat match, as he figured that in a match like that, he could have been crippled, he could have been seriously injured or worse. So they both a little bit salty at Billy Corgan over that, right? So that is what it is right there. Meanwhile, moving forward, May Valentine, she's interviewing Colby Corino, Jax Dane, Pulp, Mystery Man. So if those names kind of sound familiar as far as, wait, why are these guys? They should. The fact that you got all of those guys with May Valentine, instantly you should be going, oh yeah, the Champion Series. Yeah, that's the respected team that won the Champion Series. Right. So all these guys were out here minus Mystery Man. Mystery Man refused to speak. Remember, he's going by a new name too. He's now known as Zion. It is what it is. I'd like to know the meaning behind that, if there's any meaning behind that name whatsoever, but that's a different story for another time. So May Valentine is trying to get the skinny from each one of these guys, figuring out what's their move. Who are they gunning for? What's the 4-on-1? So she starts with Colby Corino, and Colby says to her, not for nothing, but I don't even remember being selected by Pulp or Velvet Sky. So, okay, strike one. And then strike two, he's yet to receive a thank you for pretty much securing the victory for his team. So despite all of that, as far as he's concerned, when he gets this opportunity, as far as a championship goes, whenever he feels he's going to take that shot, and he promises he will not lose when he does take that shot. From there, we go to Pulp. Pulp, pretty much bum is the word with Pulp. Pulp's not giving any answer whatsoever. He realizes that there's a war of opportunity, and when it's right, that's when he's going to strike. So he's pretty much saying the same thing like Colby Corino, but in different words. Meanwhile, Jax Dane lets it be crystal clear that as far as championships go, he goes over once again all the championship titles that he's held. And once again, you're kind of, okay, all right, we hear you, but what's up? Which championship are you eyeing here? He talks about eyeing Trevor Murdoch's NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And he mentions how he heard what he had said earlier in the show and everything. But Cal Davis wants to know, speaking of champions, hey, you attacked your former tag partner, Crimson. What's up with that? Jax Dane did not elaborate anymore in regards to that. Because remember, he attacked Crimson during that 12-man battle royal at NWA 73. And he's actually looking all behind him frantically, trying to make sure Crimson isn't behind him. But Cal tells him, no Crimson here tonight, so you don't have to worry about him. And he just kind of shrugged it off and everything. But we never did get that definitive answer why he did what he did to Crimson from over the weekend. So that pretty much was it right there. It took us about 16 minutes in the way that they were setting up these three arcs here. So just think about that. Think about these three interview segments that we got off the break that took up about 16 minutes to start the show. We got the development there with Trevor Murdoch, NWA World Heavyweight Champion, right? We've got that tease there by Jax Dane that he's potentially going after Trevor Murdoch's 10 pounds of gold. All right, so got that development. The other development we got, look at what's going on with Camille and with Tom Latimer, right? They're pretty much representing each other. They're looking out for each other. They are continuing to push the conspiracy Corrigan theory made famous by Nick Aldis. Another thing that was kind of interesting during this whole thing as well was the Chris Adonis coming out there with Molina. I thought that was, we'll talk more about that. But one thing that was very, very telling was the fact that Adonis came out wearing Nick Aldis' Strictly Business little windbreaker jacket, which kind of made Cal Davis question, wait a minute, why are you wearing that? Of all people, why are you wearing that when that doesn't even belong to you? So kind of interesting what's going on here, because you could almost say that the little subtle hints that they're kind of giving you here is that maybe something's going to happen here with Nick Aldis as he's taking this sabbatical and all that. I mean, let's just entertain it right now. Is it even humanly, remotely possible that by the time Nick Aldis does come back, maybe he's going to have a different outlook on things, and maybe members of Strictly Business, they're going to be happy to see him back and everything? Is it even possible that, I've turned a new leaf, I'm not into this anymore, and is it possible that as a result of having that second change of heart, is it possible that he could alienate Camille, Adonis, Latimer? And you understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of a nice little thing you got to have going in the back of your head there. 16 minutes after we got all of these interview segments, all great, by the way. It wasn't long-winded by any stretch. It was just boom, boom, boom. You got the breadcrumbs, enough to follow along, and pretty much go from there. First matchup, Sky Blue taking on Kiera Hogan. Kiera Hogan defeating Sky Blue. And special guest commentator here with Joe Galli and Velvet Sky, Mickey James. Mickey James had joined them, and I was so happy to hear Joe Galli, because normally they don't. When there's certain story arcs that, okay, maybe now that we've got this opponent out here on guest commentating, maybe they can tackle this, and normally they don't. It's kind of one of those, we'll save it until Power Surge or whatever. But it was refreshing to hear, and really, really smart, especially coming off of your 73rd anniversary show. It's really nice to hear Joe Galli ask Mickey James, yo, that attack that went down from Deonna Purrazzo at the 73rd pay-per-view, what's up with that? How do you respond to that? Mickey James basically saying, in regards to Deonna felt that when I came to her turf on Impact, that I was essentially still in her spotlight per se. And so she only thought it was kind of fair to try to see if she could upstage me at NWA 73. But yeah, hey, we all know my star, it shines so bright. It's going to keep on shining bright. I'm not tripping over Deonna, but yeah, obviously, there's some stuff going on there between me and her, right? So I love that nice little continuation that we got there between her and Deonna. Can't wait to see how Deonna essentially responds on Impact, whether it be this week or next week. See, that's the thing. It's one of those
type of deals where you would like to believe when you go watch the following episode of Impact, it's gonna pretty much mirror what, but that's not always the case because Impact already does their stuff like a couple of weeks in advance and all that. So, but I will admit what has been done within the past couple of weeks, brilliantly, it's coincided. What Impact and NWA have been putting out there, it's coincided when you've checked out Impact. Everything bridges up, it matches up pretty damn good. So, I kind of have a strong feeling that we won't be disappointed for those of us that decide we want to check out Impact, see Deanna bring up what all went down at NWA 73. Hell, even if they got to splice in some type of Skype little video interview with Deanna commenting, or maybe she fires something up on her phone and then that could essentially get spliced in to the episode of Impact. But you definitely got to capitalize on that without a doubt. So Kiera Hogan picking up the dub over Sky Blue, defeating Sky Blue with the Face the Music finisher. But then she has some choice words to say to Mickie James, and salty words. She was basically telling Mickie James to give her props. She saw what she did in there against Sky Blue. You like that? Yeah, I know you like that. Yeah, give me my props. And it was so weird because Mickie James, while she was on commentating, Velvet Sky, Joe Galley, they were asking her for her thoughts on both women in the ring. And when it came to commenting on Kiera Hogan, she said straight up, I've known Kiera Hogan since she was 17. I've essentially had a hand in, molding her and teaching her the ways of the business. Very proud of the woman that she's become to be. Really, I can't say nothing but enough things, good things about her. I've watched her career for a long time. So to see Kiera Hogan come right into the face post-match and Mickie James, and you're just kind of going, whoa, what the hell? And I love that Galley, Sky jumping right on that and saying to Mickie, we don't understand that. What's going on there? You were nothing but complimentary there towards Kiera. It doesn't make any sense. So, kind of seeing that nice little development that's going on there between Hogan and James, you now can't help but think, okay, maybe in the immediate future, is it possible we're going to, essentially see the teacher taking on the pupil here, right? It kind of feels that way. And honestly, I think that would be for NWA fans, yeah, that'd be a fantastic matchup to see Kiera Hogan and Mickie James. Sign me up for that. That'll definitely be a pretty damn good one. Meanwhile, Paola Blaze, Genocide, Taryn Terrell, they're with Cal Davis. Another interview segment here. Taryn Terrell pretty much hogged this segment, made it be all about her. Great weekend that it was with NWA and Powerrr. Everything was going good till they came across Frosty the Snowman, otherwise known as Lady Frost, and the Hex. Hex comes right on out, and they have a few spicy words with Blaze, Genocide, and Terrell. Blaze issuing a challenge to the Hex. Hey, what's up? Why not let me get a shot at those tag team titles? Shh. Allison K not having any of that. She's like, nah. She's like, you ain't even been in this joint for a cup of coffee. Like, that's not how this works. Nah, we ain't doing it like that. So Blaze decides, okay, well, what about a singles match? Give me a singles match against you guys, and I bet to you I prove that I'm better than you. So continuing to have words here, Mecha Wolf, Best of 666, La Rebellion, the new NWA Tag Team Champions, they came out. They're pretty much just watching everything that's going on. They don't really have anything much to say here, but they're pretty much lingering on here because they want to pay attention to the next match that's coming up. And man, were they salty post-match, La Rebellion. Tell you about them in a hot second. Let's go to that next matchup. Second matchup of the night, NWA Tag Team Tournament qualifying match. Now, this tournament basically is to figure out who is going to face Mecha Wolf and Best of 666 for those tag titles. So in this NWA Tag Team Tournament qualifying match, the Rude Dudes, Nick Stanley and El Rudo, they defeated Ill Begotten's Captain Yuma and Rush Freeman. Pretty good matchup. We did find out the participants that's also going to be in this qualifying tournament. We're going to be seeing the big strong boys, Aaron Stevens, Kratos, Mims, and Saul Renaro, JTG and Colby Carino, Slice Boogie and Marche Rocket, Jordan Clearwater and Mystery Man, the Ends, Odison, and Pharaoh. Now, you're asking me who would I like to see pretty much win the whole thing? I personally would not mind seeing. It's between two teams right now. I wouldn't mind seeing JTG and Colby Carino or Slice Boogie and Marche Rocket. Those are the two I'm really. Actually, you know what? The Ends, Odison, and Pharaoh would be pretty good as well to take on La Rebellion. They'd be pretty good as well. But remember what I just said a few seconds ago. La Rebellion had continued to linger around because they wanted to see what was going on here. And they had a response to this tag team qualifying tournament as they revealed to Cal Davis, okay, we came here for serious competition. And everything that's been going on so far has pretty much been a joke. It's essentially been a waste of our time. We get crowned new tag team champions at the pay-per-view. We want some serious opponents. And this is what you come up with. You come up with this lame-ass tournament featuring folks whose asses we've already beat that aren't even worthy of getting in the ring with us. This is what we're going to go do. We're not fighting here. We're taking these titles. We're going to Mexico. We're going to stay in Mexico until you guys actually bring us some serious competition. So they are essentially holding those tag titles hostage. So you hear that, and the first thing that's coming into your mind is, wait a minute, can they actually do that? And if you're Billy Corgan, you're going, okay, wait a minute, how exactly do we get this resolved here? Because you would like to believe, just kind of following the storyline here, and Billy Corgan has been a smart, kind of savvy businessman / owner of NWA. You know, we've seen him where it counts the most, essentially disciplining talents and all that. You hear something like this where, I mean, look, it was not that long ago that Billy Corgan had fined members of Strictly Business, remember, from a couple of months back when they all had decided, you know, to pull a no-call, no-show, and they were scheduled to all appear. Some of them had matches and all that, and he hit them big time. He hit them big time, if you guys recall. So you would like to think, just kind of keeping up with the consistency there, you would like to believe that for now, maybe Billy Corgan is just going to say, okay, you know what? They want to go in Mexico for this little bit. Okay, that's fine. But, you know, unless I need to schedule these guys for a match, then, you know, we'll let this tournament play out. And then whoever the opponents are going to be, okay, then it is what it is. Either these guys are going to come from Mexico and defend these titles, or we're going to strip them of the titles. But then the other thing you got to have in the back of your mind is, yo, you can go to Mexico, but when I need you on the show and I schedule you and you need to do your thing, you need to do your thing. Otherwise, there's going to be some consequences. So I'm interested to see for the next couple of weeks how this is going to pan out with La Rebellion. We'll see. Meanwhile, Chris Adonis and Molina, we kind of teased this a little bit earlier. So, interesting pairing here. Adonis and Molina. Interesting pairing here. It makes no sense. Really makes no sense. But Adonis puts over Molina, tells folks that, you know, she's one of the best talents that's out there, best managers as well. Why was she not featured on this week's episode of Powerrr? Once again, throwing Billy Corgan's name out there, Conspiracy Corgan. Molina, meanwhile, she just can't help but comment on Camille. She talks about how there used to be a time where she really, really had enjoyed Camille when she didn't talk. Now that she's talking, it's just pretty much nonstop. She just personally can't stand to hear her voice. Before this can go any further, the sinister minister James Mitchell and Judias, they come out where James Mitchell puts over Chris Adonis as the new national champion, telling him, hey, look, the fact that you won that title the first time, okay, nice, beginner's luck, awesome. But you winning it a second time, that puts you on a pantheon of the God's path. And in this whole breath, he's also putting over his client, Judas, basically saying, look, my guy here, respect to the side and everything, we're pretty much going to destroy you. We're taking away that national championship. Adonis takes a shot at Judas, saying, you don't look intimidating whatsoever. And he really doesn't. He really does not look intimidating, but it is what it is. Adonis was ready to pounce right then and there. Judas didn't want any of them. That pretty much was the end of that. Third matchup, short matchup, Chelsea Green losing shockingly to Kenzie Page. Closing moments of that matchup, Chelsea Green was looking for the unprettier. Kenzie Page managed to successfully counter it. And then just out of nowhere, she was able to get a roll-up on Chelsea Green. And that roll-up, from there, 1, 2, 3, Kenzie Page has the victory. And Chelsea Green just snapped. Just right there in the middle of the ring. She just snapped, grabbing her hair, was starting to cry, just rocking herself. I mean, she was just cradling herself back and forth. And then when we finally get to freaking see her face again, we see the mascara and, she's crying and she's just starting to scream. I mean, she's just babbling a whole bunch of incoherent stuff and all that. So apparently we've got the return of Hot Mess Chelsea Green, the bride Chelsea Green. And I loved the bride. I got to tell you, I loved it. I remember pretty much tail end of her run there in Impact. It was starting to grow on me, and then that pretty much was it and everything. Interesting. I know there were some people that were actually a little bit salty over Chelsea winning the tournament cup there. Why, I don't know, but for me, I like the fact that we're getting this, because if you missed it the first go round, it's kind of, oh yeah, you missed it the first go round. Okay, well, now that she's been able to learn what she's been able to learn under the WWE system, and then just all the other promotions that she's been working at as of late, I mean, it's going to be nice to see how she just strings everything together and just really, lets loose here. You can make an argument, though, that, is it maybe a little bit too soon to go this route? No, I don't think so. And I'll say that for this main reason. When you look at NWA right now, other than Camille, I mean like your top heel, you can pretty much have them work with just about anybody. Other than Camille, I mean, Taryn Terrell, yeah, for sure, Taryn Terrell. But other than that, you really don't have any, tier level 1 female heels. So to put Chelsea Green in that category, yeah, I think it's going to be just totally kick-ass. Totally kick-ass. I mean, yeah, without a shadow of doubt, we got a few female heels that's in there, but when you're talking about a commanding presence, great personality, can definitely, do their shit, on a mic or whatever, let their personality really let loose, that's when you really close in that gap there. So the fact that Chelsea Green is going to be able to play around with this go round, yeah, I can't wait to see what tweaks, if any, is going to be made. I don't think it's going to be the exact same thing that we saw in Impact Wrestling. Meanwhile, James Storm is interviewed by May Valentine, get comments about his future, what it holds for him. And he talks about how during this pandemic, the one thing that he learned the most is that there's no amount of money in the world you could pay him. His family means nothing but the world to him. Family comes first. Their safety, their well-being, all that comes first. Austin Idol crashes the scene, interrupts him. is basically putting over how Tyrus is going to be defending the World Television Championship against someone that is definitely challenger worthy. That is a worthy opponent for Tyrus, and as they've looked over the hills and yea yonder to find the very best talent that's out there. Who was that opponent? Well, we find out that, oh, wait, it's Jordan Clearwater. But wait, Jordan Clearwater is with Black G's. Okay, so, oh, all right, so, all right, nice. So Jordan Clearwater is getting this opportunity, and he's pretty excited. He's jumping up on the apron. I mean, he's ecstatic. He's ecstatic for this opportunity. He's pumped up, but then we see Black G's take control, calmly asks Clearwater to step out of the ring, and Clearwater is pretty pissed off because he thought for sure this was going to be his opportunity. No. So, yeah, it was Black G's squash match. I mean, this was just an ultimate squash match. I mean, Black G's tried, went in with the speed there, went low, tried to do a nice little chop block to lower legs there, rode his Cray. Got him down to his level at one point, managed to pull off doing a DDT, then went up to the top rope, was actually able to successfully do a frog splash and everything. But, as far as any more of an offense, just about mainly the only things that Black G's was able to get in there before Tyrus just pretty much came back on the rebound, smash, thrashed, and dominated. Match was over, man. This didn't even hit the 6:05 mark. I want to say this match was over in probably 3 minutes, is being very gracious. I wouldn't be surprised if this was maybe a 2-minute match at most, but that pretty much was it for this episode of NWA Powerrr. So, getting that tease there with James Storm, you can't help but wonder if somewhere down the road there in the immediate future, if maybe James Storm is going to come scratching for that TV title, if maybe he's going to be the one that's going to want to get in the face of Tyrus and Austin. I mean, I think that would actually be pretty damn good. I think they would have a pretty good matchup together. The back and forth on the microphone, in particular, between Austin Idol and Cowboy James Storm, I think that would give fans some memorable stuff. So we'll see how that all pans out. But for a post NWA 73rd anniversary edition of Powerrr, they did great. I would have to say. One thing that's kind of interesting, and I don't see that many people talking about this. And I remember I had raised this question a couple of weeks ago in one of the Discord servers that I'm a moderator for. And, a lot of people had assumed, but, obviously these people, some of the people, they meant well, but some of the people that were commenting don't even check out the NWA product. But something that I found rather interesting is that Sean Davari, remember, we talked about him because he was on guest commentating at the 73rd anniversary show over the weekend. Also had a hand in producing and all of that. He's also one of the producers for NWA Powerrr. I mention that because he was definitely, when the end credits rolled for this week's episode, he was recognized once again as one of the producers. I'm homing in on Sean Davari because about 2 weeks ago almost, maybe 2.5 weeks at most, Sean Davari and Hall of Famer Molly Holly, they both got hired by WWE as full-time backstage producers. I can't help but wonder, not so much for Molly Holly, but I really want to home in on Sean Davari. Okay, so was Sean Davari's deal structured in such a way where he's able to continue to do his work with the NWA and keep doing what he's doing with WWE? Because the backstage producer role, that's supposed to be full-time with WWE. So are they already starting, or, have they already began their new jobs with WWE? Or is this a case where Davari gets to finish up with NWA? It's kind of interesting what's going on there. And I actually kind of wish that we would get a little bit more information in regards to that. Hell, I might actually ask the questions, especially now that I'm a columnist and all that for 401 Mania. Maybe we can kind of break our own little news there and figure that out. I'll look into that and get back with you guys. But I just thought that was kind of an interesting note to bring up to you guys. By the way, we got new afterthoughts from Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan actually commented on Ric Flair's promo at the pay-per-view over the weekend. Remember, we commented about that. There were definitely people in forums, on wrestling sites, a lot of mixed reactions to that Ric Flair promo. Well, Billy Corgan had sounded off about what all was being said there by Ric Flair. And although Billy Corgan does not throw Ric Flair under the bus, no shade being thrown at him, there is a little bit of, I think whoever was conducting the interview, I think the one or two questions that was missing from this interview was, did it make you upset in any type of way? Were you a little bit irritated in any fashion, what you were hearing? And even if Billy were to just scoff at that and say no, of course he's going to say no, because he wants to keep that door open, so that, because you never know when you might need to work with Ric Flair and family again, right? The world has a way of just always coming around. Somehow you always end up meeting the same people again in some form in your life, right? So here's what Billy Corgan had to say in regards to this. And this was in a recent interview on Busted Open. Shout out to the guys there at Busted Open. And I quote, in regards to if he knew what all Ric Flair was going to be saying, bringing up WWE, Vince, and all of those people. Here's what Billy Corgan had to say, and I quote, "No, but you know what?" Rick said, "What do you want me to say?" I said, "Rick, you're Ric Flair. You can say whatever you want." He went, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, talk about whatever you want. I trust you." He said, "I want to speak from my heart. I've been thinking about what I want to say, and it teared me up thinking about it." I said, "Do your thing. That's it. That's what we're about." Ric Flair has earned the right to step through those ropes and say whatever the damn hell he wants. I asked Rick, "Do you wrestle here?" He said, "Did you wrestle here?" He said, "Many times. I wrestled Harley, Dusty, Blackjack." He rattled off 20 names, and I was like, oh my God, of course he can step in the ring and say whatever he wants. You don't think he's earned that? I do. I don't care what anyone else thinks with their company and my company. Rick can say whatever the damn hell he wants. I just wish there would have been, some follow-ups, right? But it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, that's the one hand. Yeah, great, of course. And that's great that Billy, but it still kind of goes back to what we were talking about on Sunday and on Monday. So we don't need to beat that horse to death. Also, more NWA news for you. We got the announcement of NWA Hard Times 2, the pay-per-view. Hard Times 2 is going to be going down on December 4th. Again, Hard Times 2 is set for December 4th. It's going to be happening in Atlanta, Georgia. And that will be available for you guys to check out on Fight TV. And in regards to Atlanta, Georgia, is going to be happening at the GPB Studios. As far as tickets going on sale, nothing right now. Nothing right now. I would think, though, maybe as we go into October, maybe that's most likely when the tickets are finally going to be on sale. No word yet on how things had went with the pay-per-view buy rate for Empower and for NWA 73. Give that about another week, maybe 2 weeks, and then we should definitely learn a lot more. And hopefully those numbers were more successful than their last pay-per-view, which had only did, if I'm not mistaken, about 500 to 600 buy rates. I believe it was if it wasn't the When Our Shadows Fall pay-per-view, it was the one before that. But yeah, one of them did like about 500 to 600 pay-per-view buy rates. So, you kind of break that down. I mean, you really stop and think about that. Okay, so 500 to 600 pay-per-view buy rates, and we're charging about what? Maybe $30, maybe $40 for the pay-per-view, right? Kind of chump change. But is it chump change when you think about the fact that, everybody's going to Fight TV to order this, and when you're trying to be cash flow positive and all of that, like, that's up for debate. That's up for debate for another time. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as NWA news goes and all that. Shout out to those of you that were able to dodge the TV taping spoilers for NWA Powerrr, because some of what we had went over tonight, I mean, there's at least about what they taped. What they taped was probably about, while they were there in St. Louis, what they taped was probably about 3, maybe 4 episodes worth of shows that they did. Add in your interviews and all of that good stuff. What they did over the weekend for Powerrr was essentially about 3 to 4 episodes, because I'm actually looking at the card and I'm doing my best to not look at the names, but I'm just seeing everything. Yeah, it's at least 3 to 4 shows tops. So including what they did tonight, like just grand total, you're looking at about maybe 4 shows worth of Powerrr. So good luck staying away from the spoilers from for the next couple of weeks, y'all. Seriously. That's it. On that note, we're gonna go on ahead, stick a fork in it, call this show DONE done. Your next edition of the RCWR show is gonna be dropping. What is that? September 1st, Wednesday, September 1st, 2021. We'll be live after NXT. Actually, correction, no, AEW Dynamite. We'll be live after AEW Dynamite goes off the air, but we will talk about NXT. We'll also talk Impact and a little ROH, some MLW. We'll actually go all over the place on that episode, so make sure you tune in, check it out. It'll be good. Meanwhile, you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button. When you do so, you help put more eyeballs on our product, and especially as far as the channel recommendations go. Feel free to subscribe too. Cool part about subscribing, when you do, I get a nice cool little graphic that pops up on my screen letting me know your name and all that, so I actually will give you a shout out and all of that good jazz. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. And until next go around, wishing all y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. If you ended up checking out this week's NWA Powerrr, sound off. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Most curious, and what would you like to see happen in the coming weeks. To our longtime supporters, as always, that check out the stuff, much love, and I will check you guys out later. Peace.